Corruption and its social impacts. Corruption is one of the most damaging problems in society because it eats away at fairness, justice, and trust. It can be seen in many forms such as bribery, nepotism, favoritism, embezzlement, and abuse of power. At its core, corruption happens when people who hold authority use their position for personal benefit instead of serving the public. It may look small at first, a small bribe or an unfair favor, but over time, it becomes like a disease that weakens the moral and social fabric of an entire community or nation. In simple terms, corruption means doing something wrong or dishonest for personal gain while ignoring what is right or fair. It can happen in government offices, private companies, educational institutions, or even in families and small communities. For example, when a public officer demands money to perform a service that is supposed to be free, or when a businessman pays a bribe to avoid taxes, that is corruption. When teachers promote students unfairly or leaders appoint relatives instead of qualified people, corruption grows stronger. The social impacts of corruption are far-reaching and often invisible at first. The biggest harm is that it destroys trust between people and institutions. Trust is the foundation of any functioning society. When citizens lose faith in their government, police, or justice system, they begin to believe that nothing works fairly anymore. Once this belief spreads, people stop following laws, lose hope in honesty, and start thinking that the only way to succeed is by cheating or paying bribes. This creates a cycle of corruption that becomes very hard to break. Corruption also deepens inequality. When money or influence becomes the way to get opportunities, only the rich and powerful benefit. The poor, who cannot afford to bribe or connect with influential people, are left behind. For instance, a poor person may be denied justice because they cannot pay a bribe, while a rich person can easily escape punishment. Students with talent may lose scholarships or jobs to those with family connections. Over time, corruption destroys the idea of merit and fairness. People stop believing that hard work or honesty can lead to success, which weakens the motivation to do good. One of the most dangerous effects of corruption is how it affects public institutions. In a corrupt system, decisions are made not for the good of society but for personal or political gain. Public money that should go to hospitals, schools, and roads is often stolen or wasted. This leaves essential services weak and citizens suffering. When corruption controls the education system, unqualified people get jobs as teachers or officials. When it reaches the health system, fake medicines and poor hospitals become normal. As a result, people lose faith in their government, and the overall development of a country slows down. Corruption also affects the economy. Investors avoid doing business in countries where they must pay bribes or where rules change depending on who is in power. Small businesses find it hard to grow because they cannot afford to pay off officials. This creates an uneven market where only those connected to powerful people can succeed. As a result, economic progress is slowed, jobs are lost, and poverty increases. Studies have shown that corruption can cost nations billions of dollars every year that could otherwise be used to improve lives. Socially, corruption leads to frustration, anger, and division among people. When citizens see corrupt leaders living in luxury while the rest of the population struggles, they feel betrayed and hopeless. This can lead to protests, social unrest, and even violence. In some societies, people begin to think corruption is a part of life and accept it as normal. This normalization is dangerous because it silently kills morality. Once people stop seeing corruption as wrong, society loses its sense of justice. Corruption also damages democracy. In a corrupt political system, votes can be bought, and leaders may come to power through money rather than public support. This weakens democracy because those in power focus on protecting their wealth instead of serving the people. Laws are made to benefit a few rather than everyone, and accountability disappears. A corrupt democracy turns into a rule of the rich, where ordinary citizens have no real voice. The impact of corruption on culture and values is equally harmful. It teaches people that honesty and hard work are meaningless compared to money and influence. When young people see corrupt individuals becoming rich and powerful, they lose faith in ethics. This leads to a cultural decay where moral values are replaced by greed, selfishness, and competition. Families and communities begin to break apart because trust and fairness disappear from daily life. Fighting corruption is not easy because it often hides behind power. However, the first step to reducing it is awareness. People must understand how corruption harms everyone, not just the poor or the powerless. Education plays an important role in shaping honest citizens who value fairness over personal gain. Strong laws, transparent systems, and accountability in public offices are essential to prevent corruption. But even more important is moral education that teaches people from a young age that honesty is not weakness, it is strength. Technology can also help in the fight against corruption. Online systems for payments, record keeping, and government services reduce the chance of bribery because they minimize personal contact between officials and citizens. Whistleblower protections encourage people to report corruption without fear. Media and civil society must also play their part by exposing wrongdoing and demanding justice. However, real change begins within individuals. Every person must make a choice not to participate in corruption, even in small ways. Refusing to pay or take a bribe, being fair in daily dealings, and standing for truth even when it is hard. These are small but powerful acts that build a stronger society. When citizens act with integrity, leaders are forced to do the same. In conclusion, corruption is more than just stealing money or abusing power. It is a moral failure that weakens every part of society. It destroys trust, increases inequality, slows development, and corrupts the minds of people. A society where corruption dominates cannot grow or remain peaceful. The real strength of a nation lies not in its wealth or military power, but in the honesty and moral character of its people. If you found this explanation helpful and believe that spreading awareness can help build a more honest world, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more thoughtful discussions on sociology, ethics, and social issues explained in simple language.